Welcome to The Explainer. So look, today we're completely skipping over those fleeting trends, right? No penny pinching hacks, and definitely no get-rich-quick schemes. Instead, we're going to take a massive magnifying glass to a real 3D roadmap for true financial independence. Let's just jump right into it. Okay, let's dive into this. The source material comes out swinging with a massive statement right out of the gate, the wealth formula that actually works. Now that word actually is pulling a lot of weight here, isn't it? It kind of acknowledges that giant graveyard of failed financial hacks we've all tried. Because let's be real for a second. Blindly hoping the stock market just magically goes up forever or trying to time those wild crypto dips, it's exhausting. We've all been there, riding that crazy emotional roller coaster of market volatility. But this formula, it promises a verified, functional engine. It literally shifts the burden of success away from your ability to accurately predict the future and puts it entirely on your ability to just follow a proven system. So, that brings us to the giant elephant in the room. Why exactly do so many financial plans just completely fail? I mean, we're constantly told to skip the morning lattes or clip coupons, right? But does that actually change your underlying financial architecture? Honestly, usually not. Cutting out coffee is just a micro adjustment. It absolutely doesn't fix a fundamentally broken approach to how you earn, save, and invest. So, we're going to break down exactly why this specific approach stands head and shoulders above the noise and how it tackles the macro-level architecture of your personal finances, rather than just, nitpicking your daily spending habits. Let's transition right into our first core concept for today. Section 1, the Wealth Formula Promise. So, what is this exactly? Well, a true wealth formula is a meticulous, step-by-step system that moves us completely beyond just relying on luck or guesswork. It's basically asking you to stop treating hope as a financial strategy. Instead of crossing your fingers for a sudden market boom, it relies on precise, controllable inputs. We're talking about things like your consistent savings rate, automated investments, and a steady asset allocation. Think of it like a beautifully engineered machine. You don't cross your fingers and just hope your car starts when you turn the key, right? You know it's going to start because the mechanics under the hood are sound. If you build your financial engine according to these precise inputs, it just runs. It sits there generating wealth quietly and efficiently in the background of your life. And just think about the stark contrast here. Generic financial advice, it's incredibly fragile. It literally shatters the moment inflation spikes or interest rates rise or, heaven forbid, an unexpected medical emergency hits. A true formula, on the other hand, is inherently resilient. It's designed to withstand intense pressure because it's rooted in a rigid structure. That means having a robust, fully funded emergency buffer and a widely diversified portfolio, rather than relying on some passing internet fad. Generic advice just leaves you constantly reacting to the world around you. But a resilient formula, it allows you to act proactively. You actually know your financial house is built on a solid bedrock that can weather those inevitable economic storms. And this brilliantly illustrates the crucial second phase of our analysis. Section 2, a practical roadmap. Now, a formula is really just math on a chalkboard until you can successfully navigate it out here in the messy, real world. That's where a practical roadmap comes in. It gives you a highly specific journey. You've got a clear starting point, a designated destination, and an incredibly well-defined path between the two, so you literally never have to guess what your next move is. It takes all that abstract math and turns it into actionable daily habits. Whether that's setting up automatic cash transfers on payday or making sure you rebalance your investment portfolio every single year, a practical roadmap takes this massive, honestly intimidating concept of wealth and breaks it down into manageable, concrete actions you can execute today. Because the reality is, you absolutely cannot just leap straight from theory right to the finish line. Step 1 is building that theoretical foundation, the formula itself. Then, step 2 is the application phase. That's the daily, weekly, and yearly execution of those principles. Diligently navigating that path and adjusting course when life inevitably happens, well, that is the only way you're going to arrive at step 3, enduring financial stability. Basically, you can't just memorize the blueprint. At some point, you actually have to pick up the hammer and start building. Step 2 is really where the magic happens. It's what transforms you from being just a passive observer of economic theory into an active, engaged participant in your own financial future. Let's move to our final destination and see how this all builds together. Section 3, lasting financial success. Notice how the source text makes a very deliberate choice here to completely avoid words like instant or hack. The focus is strictly 100% on building wealth and maintaining a long-term focus. This is not about some rapid cash grab, okay? It's about constructing a financial reality that actually stands the test of time.
We're talking about setting up compound interest accounts, aggressively paying down any high-interest consumer debt you have, and holding on to assets that appreciate over decades. Building wealth is a deliberate, brick-by-brick process. The source material is essentially giving you full permission to just ignore all those loud, chaotic voices promising you overnight riches. Look, true, lasting financial success, it's often incredibly boring in the day-to-day execution, but man, it is absolutely spectacular in its long-term results.
So, the crucial point is this. The formula works precisely because its practicality is aimed entirely up that long-term horizon. Fully embracing this requires you to fundamentally shift your mindset. You have to move away from what you can gain by tomorrow and focus exclusively on what you're actively building for the decades to come. It's exactly like shifting from a sprinter's mentality to a marathon runner's endurance. It means finally recognizing that true financial freedom isn't measured by whatever the balance is in your checking account at the end of this month. It's measured by the generational wealth, the total freedom of time, and the ultimate stability you are establishing for your future self. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I really want you to ask yourself a hard question. Is your financial roadmap built for lasting success? Seriously, take a brutally honest look at your current setup. Are you operating on fragile advice and pure guesswork? Or are you utilizing a proven, highly practical formula aimed strictly at the long game? The blueprint is sitting right there. The only question now is whether you're prepared to actually follow it. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll leave you to ponder that exact thought.